It's good.
I have questions after Julia, but yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Data key.
You guys ever have that moment like where like you realize your eye is like blurry a little bit and there's like nothing in it?
Hi.
Mm-hmm.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the BB Circle Chats. My name is Vanessa, and I will be your host tonight. As you are coming into the circle, please drop your name, where you're checking in from, and what your business is in the chat box, okay? And if you are checking out the replay, I invite you to also drop your name, your location, and what your business is. So I just want to remind everybody that you can catch us every Thursday. Well, actually, next Thursday is the last Circle Chat episode. But we are here from 2:30 p.m. PT time and 5:30 p.m. ET time. Okay. So again, I'm Vanessa. I'm your host tonight, and I am the CEO and founder of Sunny Days Creative Studio. I provide websites. I am also a tech bae, okay? That is what my clients have referred to me as because I love all things tech. And majority of my clients that I work with are online coaches and creative entrepreneurs. And I'm going to invite the rest of my co-hosts to introduce themselves as well.
I think you're muted, Kat.
I just realized that. Sorry, my bad. Hi, I'm Kat, and I'm a Show It website designer, and I work with creative entrepreneurs and service-based businesses to help them create the website of their dreams.
And hi, I'm Julia Spector, and I'm the founder of Impact Design by Julia. I'm a creative marketing specialist and a web designer as well. I have worked with a variety of different clients, from creative entrepreneurs to larger businesses and nonprofits, law firms, and other organizations, and have worked in different services such as social media, branding, video editing, etc.
And I'm Jazz Cole. I am a foreign language specialist. My goal is mainly to help businesses, professionals, as well as even students who are looking to seek international opportunities.
Awesome. Well, welcome, ladies. I'm so excited that all y'all could join me tonight. And I want to remind everyone who's watching to stay until the end so that you can learn about a special freebie from yours truly. Okay. And I'm just really excited to have this discussion today because, as you may or may not know, the theme for this month is refine. And I want everyone to know that, it's not quite spring yet. I believe the first day of spring is this upcoming Sunday. Correct me if I'm wrong.
No clue. There's still snow outside, so like
I thought it was...
There's no spring in Canada. It just jumps straight to summer. It's winter, summer immediately.
Yeah, and I'm in Portugal right now, which is, I guess, part of the entrepreneurial lifestyle travel. And I feel like the temperature here jumped from like winter the first day we were here in Lisbon, all the way up to like very cold, and now we're in Lagos and it is very warm. It's very warm here. So I feel like I'm very confused in what season exactly it is right now. So
Yes, I feel like New England is similar to Canada where you're at, Kay, because it's like one day it feels like spring, the next it feels like winter, and sometimes summer. Like you don't really know, which is why it's really important to dress in layers. That's why I tell my kids, dress in layers before you leave the house, because you can always take it off, but you can't put it on once you leave the house. Like that's it.
Like Kentucky doesn't know what it's doing. It's like freezing at first thing in the morning, and then now it's like sunny, and like I rode my bike to work the last few days, and so I'm just like confused.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it sounds like we all have some confusion going on with Mother Nature right now. But, it's still a good idea to stay ahead of the curve and get a jump start on things as spring is making up its mind as to whether or not it's going to come. Okay. So I'm going to encourage everyone, including myself. I'm going to hold myself accountable to this as well. To do some spring cleaning in our businesses, to get, really started earlier this year and make sure that, we really take note of small areas and like minor tweaks of improvement that we can make in our businesses. And specifically with our goals that we set out for our businesses in January of 2023. We are 3 months into the year, and it's really easy to fall off the wagon, to become susceptible to being inconsistent, and to really kind of like almost forget, or put our goals on the back burner of everything that we're doing as far as our tasks go with our daily lives, for our business and for our personal lives. So I just want to make sure that everyone feels supported. I want y'all to know that, like, don't worry about a thing. We are all here for you to be supportive of where you're at in your business right now. And it's an amazing time to be a woman with a business, right? I think we can all agree to that, ladies. What do you think?
Yes.
Awesome. So I just really want to jump into this conversation because it is going to be juicy today, y'all. Like, I'm going to switch things up a little bit. Okay, usually I introduce a quote, but I'm actually going to introduce a quote and some statistics. According to AAUW, which is the American Association of the Women, Equal Pay Day, which happened this past Tuesday in the United States, is a symbolic day used to raise awareness around and combat the impact of pay inequities. End quote. So we're really going to be focusing on, talking about women who are working full time, women who are working year round, and women who work part-time and seasonally, because there's some alarming statistics that are associated with Equal Pay Day. So I'm just going to run through some of these statistics and we are going to jump right into some juicy questions, y'all, okay? So for women who are working full time, they earn 84 cents compared to every dollar that a man makes. When it comes to LGBTQIA plus community, there's actually not enough data to be able to make the same comparison. When it comes to Black women, and mind you, Equal Pay Day for Black women is July 27th, Black women who are working full time are just making 67 cents to every dollar of a non-Hispanic white man. And if they're working part-time or seasonal, they're only earning they're only earning 64 cents, okay? Now, this I did not know. There's actually a separate Equal Pay Day for moms. Did y'all know that?
No.
No?
That's
Yeah.
news to me.
Yeah, I feel bad. I honestly didn't even know that Equal Pay Day was a thing. But
Yeah.
I love
Yeah.
it.
It's definitely a thing. And I love having the platform to be able to bring awareness to it, because moms who are working full-time year-round are only paid 74 cents. And if they work part-time, it's only 62 cents for every dollar that a non-Hispanic white man makes. And it goes on and on to talk about, women who are identified as Latina, they're making 57 cents, and Native American women, they're making 57 cents compared to the dollar that a non-Hispanic white man. And we have Asian American and Native Hawaiian and Pacific Islander women who are making 92 cents for every dollar that a non-Hispanic white man is making. So, ladies, my question to you is, and we kind of touched upon this a little bit already, but were you aware of the gender wage gap?
Absolutely.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'm definitely aware of it. Also aware of, like, I don't know if you guys know, like, the pink tax, how
Yeah.
when women have to buy things, like, they're absolutely ridiculous, like the price of women's deodorant versus men's deodorant, like there shouldn't really be a big difference there. It's freaking deodorant, but
Mhm.
yeah, definitely aware of it. And to be honest, like that's why I have my own business. Like I'm not letting it affect my life. And yeah, like I have been in situations where I've been where I felt like I've been undervalued because
Mhm.
I'm a female, right? Or maybe my response isn't as assertive as like a male's response is. Like I notice anytime I'm texting a male, like there is a male that I've recently started to partner up with and work with on like a work level. And every time I write this man an email, I have to go back into the email and I'm like, remove exclamation point, right? Like it just so that I'm clear and concise and like coming across like understood. But I'm definitely aware of it. And like I make changes to the way, which I feel like we really shouldn't have to, but I make silly little changes like that. Just so that I can make more than 84 cents compared to every dollar a man makes. No, I'm making more than that man. Screw that man.
Yeah, I feel like Kat, I feel like exactly what you were saying about this is the reason why you're in business, why you want to be an entrepreneur is because you don't want to be affected by that. You don't want to be affected by someone telling you what your cap is that you can make. You want to be able to have, and same with me and all of us, we want to be able to take ownership and be able to not have that cap on what we're making, be able to work a certain amount and be able to get out there and hustle and do our thing and make a good amount equal to a man, obviously. And I also feel like it would be really interesting to explore this. I feel like because I obviously also in the corporate world, and I feel like age, something I think that would be an interesting statistic to look into as well, because I feel like I still have a lot to offer, but sometimes due to my age, I don't feel like as valued. Sometimes it just kind of depends, or maybe that's the obviously the structure of the company, different things. But I think that would be interesting to look into like different like Gen Z, millennial, and see where those statistics lie for each of the generations, because I feel like young people like us have so much to value and so many new inspiring ideas, and we're here to shake things up and we're here to offer so much, and have a greater understanding usually of different new innovations, new technologies, what's going on, but don't always feel as valued.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's a good point, Julia. So
Mhm.
what you're describing is ageism, that's
Mhm.
discrimination based on your age.
Mhm.
And just like gender discrimination and racial discrimination, it's wrong,
Mhm.
and I feel like we could definitely use our platforms and our voices to take a stand and
Mhm.
say, with our companies that we run, we don't operate that way. We could really change this landscape of the gender pay gap.
Mhm.
And here's another statistic. So the current rate of progress for the gender wage gap will not close until 2111. So 2111.
A long time.
2111. So not even in our lifetimes, okay, is it going to be closed? But that's according to the current data that we have right now with the AAUW. These are researchers who they dedicate their lives to collecting this data and creating these reports. And what they're saying at the end of this report is we can't and we won't wait that long. And that's why I'm speaking for myself. I'm also speaking to everyone who's a business owner or who wants to be who's an aspiring business owner. We cannot wait that long, which is why it's important to bring awareness to it so that we can really see, like, why is this? What is the history behind this? How can we not repeat this history so that we don't have to wait till 2111 for the gap to be closed? I know personally for me, as a Black woman, in my experience, I know that this stems from slavery. Black women are behind because we were not being paid for our labor. And this goes all the way back to slavery. And even after slavery ended, I know that like my grandmother on my maternal side, her father transitioned over to becoming a sharecropper, where he actually had a plot of land off of the plantation where his family was enslaved, but they still had to pay monies to the person that owned the farm. It wasn't totally their land. So they were still not able to get paid fair wages for their work. So we have a lot of work to do, y'all.
Yeah.
Don't all go at once.
It's like you said, it's like it's something to think about. I mean, I just know that because right before the pandemic was like, actually like about 2 years before the pandemic, I had finished college. And I remember when I joined my first this agency that ended up which they were very successful in getting me some opportunities. But I remember coming in there saying, like, you can't ask for this much because this is what you can expect this much money if you're if you're an actual tech designer, you're an entry level. So it's like you're an assistant tech designer. It's basically you're going to make this much into this much. And it was like not really all that livable. Like it wasn't like enough to like, I don't know, like entry level. I get it. It's like you have to kind of earn your way through, I guess, your way up or so. But it's like, at the same time, it's like, I still have to eat, I still need to, I don't want to have to live in like this little, like, like some like, apartment, like that's like not even like well maintained or something like that. Like, I think that everyone has a right to their own, like, standard of living, like the minimum wage in California, they raised it to $15, but then it's like everything else went up and it's like nothing changed. So I'm like, what is this? So,
Yeah,
you-
Jazz, I feel like I totally understand that, like with DC too, and that all of the salaries for young people, like I know how much they pay like interns and different things at like different companies entry level, and I've heard from lots of my different friends, and the cost of living has gotten so outrageous in these big cities, but younger people who are our age are not getting paid the salaries compared to, I feel like seems like at least it was easier for our parents' generation because the rent and the cost of food and everything else was just so much more manageable for everybody else. Like in general, everything has just gone up. We just found out like our rent has gone up 11% and everything is just going up, but the salaries are not going up. And so I feel like then that it's just like, what do you do? What do you do there? And so I think that is exactly why more women are turning to different side hustles. People are trying to figure out ways of passive income and ways of figuring it out, because I feel like you can no longer just rely on a corporate job necessarily. I mean, you definitely can, but I think it's a little bit more difficult for younger generations with all of rise of inflation, rise of rent. Some people's rent $3,000 for like a 1-bedroom apartment seems very common in Washington, D.C. And so I think more people are just turning towards side hustles and passive income and figuring out other ways of trying to earn and trying to supplement their income.
Yeah, because I know like I came from the fashion industry and I remember like it basically like before the pandemic and before people were like, I'm quitting, like this is, dumb. But I remember it was like, this is what I can pay you. Either take it or we'll find someone else who can. And it's like it's a privilege to work here. Kind of like my life was kind of like if you've ever seen like The Devil Wears Prada, that was literally how I felt. Like, it's like a million people would love to work in this industry or whatever, but I'm like, I'm killing myself and I'm literally not making as much just to kind of show for my work.
Exactly. I totally understand that.
Yeah, that's wild, Jazz. There's so much that's running through my head. I'm just thinking about like, well, I want to go back to what you said, Julia, when you had mentioned, working in corporate America, like you can find a higher paying job, right? Or you can get paid decently, but There's a lot of people who are looking towards side hustles to make some extra income, right? And if you're working in corporate America, or even if you are a woman who seeks a higher paying job position, like maybe you go into a male dominated industry. Like I know for me personally, I'm a website designer and I also work with tech, so I love getting into the back ends of tech platforms to troubleshoot them. And I could go and apply to work in Silicon Valley right now if I wanted to. And it would, work in the tech industry and maybe work in IT. And that would be a male dominated industry and there would be higher pay for that, right? But only to a certain point, for the simple fact of my gender and my race. So I think that it's very important to know that we do have choices that we can make to help us make more money. But there's this issue of the pay gap is at an institutional level, right? We're talking about these companies and we can't change them. We could go in and make some noise, right? But they have already been built a certain way. Okay, like when Jazz was saying like they were going to pay her a certain amount and that's all they could do, right? And if she doesn't want it, then they'll give it to somebody else who would be more than happy to take it, right? And they know that because that's the way they built the institution of their workplace to be. That's the company culture. So I want to really say like this is like a structural issue and this is all over the United States. So with our businesses, I feel like it's really important to be aware and think about, okay, well, what if we are going to start like hiring, like if you're in a growing phase and then you want to scale your business, right? You're going to have to bring in team members. You're going to have to delegate tasks. And are you going to pay them a livable wage? What is a livable wage? These are hard questions that we would have to ask now that we are actually on the other side, right? It's going to look so different. And that's why I think awareness is so important so that when that moment comes, we already are aware that, the pay gap does exist and we can do something about it in our own companies.
Absolutely.
Yes, y'all. Man, I could do a deeper dive. Like, I just love this topic. I made some posts about it on Instagram because this is something that I feel passionately about. I also have my master's in women's studies. So I studied gender inequalities and racial inequalities. And this was one of the topics that often came up a lot in all different industries. And it's really sad. It's going to take until 2111 for us to catch up.
Yeah, I feel like I would also be interested in learning more about the data around when a mom has their first kid, or like what the statistics are there, like right after they have their kid or when they're coming back into the workplace. Is it more difficult for them to get a raise or promotion if different bosses think that maybe they're gonna leave their job so they could be a stay-at-home mom? And also the cost of childcare, if their salary is not enough where it wouldn't really make sense to pay for a nanny or pay for childcare. I think that's interesting as well.
Yes, well, I can speak to that as a mom who had a child and went back into the workplace, and they don't care about that.
Okay.
No. I know there are some nonprofits that actually do care about that. And one of them is that I can think of is actually, I had a good friend of mine who went to a college and they actually had actually one of the places I used to work at, which was a hospital, they actually had a daycare on site.
Wow.
Yes. So, and you were able to actually put money away into, I can't remember the name of the account. If there's anybody who works in HR, you probably know what I'm talking about, where you can actually take money from your paycheck and before taxes and put it into a special account to pay for childcare, to pay for eyeglasses for yourself or for your kids, to pay for medicine. Like, this is revolutionary, y'all. But not all workplaces offer this, you know? So there definitely are some places that are progressive in that area, but still it's not enough.
Did you have to pay to put your kid in the on-site daycare?
Yes, but because I was a employee there, it was at a reduced rate.
Okay.
I think it should, if you're an employee there, it should be free.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, because I was
I
listening
don't
to
think
you
they got
say
that
that, and
memo,
it was
Kay. I don't
like,
think they got that memo.
yeah, I was listening to you say that, and I'm just like, that's kind of silly.
Because I remember, like, when I lived in Germany, like with my au pair children, they were in kindergarten, but the thing was, the kindergarten was like free because it was paid for by everyone. You know, so it's like, you know, and you could basically leave your kids there however long. If you want them to be there for 4 hours, you want them to be all day, it depends on how long you work. I think the latest they could stay there was like 4 p.m. And she's like, no, I don't want them to stay that long because they're like 4. She's like, I want them to come home and like be at home, you know. So it was pretty much free.
Wow.
Yeah.
What country was that? I grew up in the wrong country, Jazz.
Yeah, Germany, like the thing is it comes out of your taxes. So it's like everybody kind of basically pays for it. So, you know, it just, yeah. And then there's like different types of kindergarten, depending on, because like the way that their education system is that they track every student. So it's like, if they think your kid is more likely going to go into, like, I don't know, something like more math and science related, they might go into special programs like throughout their, like, because they have like gymnasium, which is like high school, and then there's like technique, something like a technical school, and there's something, so like when your kid goes to high school, they can choose what kind of high school they want to be in based on their interests, which I think is like great, because it's like that way, like your kids are able to kind of like find their way to where they feel like their interest might be, versus being like, let's just put them all in public school and like see what happens.
Yeah, I think that's so
That's
cool about Germany, and I
interesting.
knew that about their schools because I have family that lives in Munich and Frankfurt, and I guess they would be my cousins. I've never met them, but they were, my uncle that had come over was telling us that when they go to high school, they can go here or they can go there, and they can choose where they want to go, which I thought was like the coolest thing ever. The only thing we really had here was like an art school. and that was it. And then otherwise it was just a technical high school or just a regular high school. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like we have it here in the States, but just not, it's not like as common because there's different types of charter schools, or you could go to a technical school. And so I think it definitely is improving in some areas, but there might not be equal access across all different regions and sections. And yeah, I feel like it's probably not as equitable.
That's right. That's right, Julia. I'm glad you said
Yeah.
they're equitable, because it's not equitable. Like, I live in the state of Connecticut, and certain counties do have
Mhm.
high schools where you can take trades like hairdressing or culinary arts or auto mechanics, right? But it's not in every single county. So I know people would literally, when their children are about to be of high school age, they will move to that county so that they could then attend that school, which provides a better variety of curriculums for them to be a part of. So it's definitely not equitable, just like, you know, the pay gap is not equitable. As you can see, like, depending on what your race is, when it comes to your gender, that's going to basically show, like, already, you know, what you will and will not be paid, like what you're missing out on. And you know, we could go down a rabbit hole with this topic. I mean, we are really doing a deep dive, y'all, but like, I want to know if anybody who's watching this, okay, answer in the comment box. Were you aware of the gender wage gap? I just want like a yes or a no. And if you have any questions or any comments, drop them for us in the comment box, because we will have a Q&A session. So I just want to remind everybody that, you know, if you're coming in a little late, this episode of the Circle Chats, we are discussing Equal Pay Day, which happened on Tuesday, March 14th in the United States. And we're also touching upon the topic of refine, which is the theme and the collective for March. We're talking about how to refine our branding, our messaging, and our marketing for our online businesses. Because we want to do some early spring cleaning, but we also would be remiss if we didn't talk about, you know, some issues that are going on in the world today that are affecting women in business, okay? So I'm actually going to move along to the next question that I have. I want to know, like, I'm just going to shift gears a little bit. I want to know what you ladies are, like, what kind of shifts you are making in your branding, your messaging, and your marketing as we do go into what may or may not look like spring. And I want to know specifically, like, how will you increase your conversions through these changes? Because we're talking about the pay gap, and I want to make sure that we do whatever we can to get to where the money resides.
Well, for myself, I have niched down where I'm only doing show it web design now, and everything is an add-on. So my messaging is a lot more targeted, to people who are looking for websites and already kind of have their businesses together, or maybe they don't. Right? Maybe they need a website, maybe they're just getting started, but I'm more targeted, I'm more niche down. And yeah, I'm just kind of like rolling into it. I am really hustling, trying to get my website finished, which it's done now. I'm just adding in photos, which is honestly like the hardest part for me. It's like finding the perfect photos. Like when I'm my own client, it's the worst. But anyway, I'm doing that now, and that's a lot of fun. So I'll probably be able to show everybody that next week. And yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Love that.
Yeah. I feel like I'm pivoting in a way that I would like to be able to help more women. And I honestly just connected this in my mind through my new course, Marketing Made Magnetic, which is going to be launching this spring. I guess one of my goals, honestly, was without even connecting the dots, is helping other women. My target market is female entrepreneurs, coaches, service providers, and helping them restructure their businesses, possibly finding their most profitable niche, helping them close more sales and get more targeted with their marketing messaging, and getting their branding on point, and getting everything together so that they can earn more money, they can raise their rates, they can sell higher packages. I have lots of different types of experiences, so I'm really excited now. I'm still working with clients one-to-one in different services, but more just clients who come to me. I'm not doing any outreach. And so this is also part of my course, how to get all the clients to just come to you. Exactly in the name, Marketing Made Magnetic. And I do believe that, honestly, my goal is to help empower as many women as I can and help them get into that state of flow, that state of abundance in their business, and to have their highest possible life path, if I'm getting a little bit more woo-woo there. But I really, really love to help other women, and I'm really excited to do that in this new structure. So in terms of marketing, I'm slowly starting to get back into marketing in terms of positioning myself as a creative marketing expert, as I am. But even if you are an expert in a certain niche, you still need to market yourself. You need to position yourself as the expert online in your different social media channels, or whatever accounts, whatever your best marketing areas are that you're going to be using. And yeah, so I'm getting a little bit more targeted on focusing on marketing that course or the group program.
Nice.
Yeah.
So digital. So you, Julia, did you make the
Yes.
transition from being a website designer to becoming like a digital marketer?
I think in some ways, I feel like I feel like part of me, I'll try to niche and then I'll just end up helping so many different types of clients. And so I think I realized that maybe my niche is not exactly a specific service, but it's a certain type of person that I'm helping in a certain way. Because I'll say, oh my gosh, okay, I'm just going to do websites or I'm just going to do this. And then I have a large company coming to me wanting branding or wanting different things. And so that's just kind of the way that it's gone. And I really believe in following your flow and following what feels right. If it feels aligned and you're able to offer those services, then just say yes.
Yes, I
So
love
yeah,
that.
so I feel like as soon as I would say, okay, I'm just going to do branding, or I'm just going to do this, or I'm going to do web design, then I would have all these other clients just coming to me.
I love that. So really,
Mhm.
it's just, being aligned with whatever it
Mhm.
is that you want to offer because it's your business, and you want
Mhm.
to do things that offer services and products that are enjoyable for you, but also what your target market um, needs, right?
Mhm.
So it's kind of like a beautiful, like, kind of like synergy that happens, right? Where
Mhm.
everything just comes together beautifully and it just flows. And
Mhm.
it might be that like that for 6 months, maybe for 12 months, maybe a couple years, who knows? But right now it just seems like it's really flowing well for you. So I'm really
Oh.
happy for you and I can't wait to see how I can't wait for launch day. Like, let's go.
I'm so excited already.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We got a lot of launch days happening. So you got your course that's launching. Kay's gonna be launching her website. And Miss Jazz, like, I know you have a lot of stuff going on too. So like what's good? She might be frozen.
Is she frozen?
I think she's frozen.
Okay. Because she was giving me the stink face for a little bit, but I'm like, that's not Jazz. Like, she don't never really give me the stink face. So she's definitely, it's like frozen. So, okay, so we will get back to Jazz when she comes back to us and unfreezes. But I'm gonna take some time out to quickly go over like some of the um, tweaks, the minor shifts that I'm making within my business. So I also decided to niche down and really focus on working with online coaches and creative entrepreneurs because I found joy in that. And I really had a lot to offer to them because I felt like they really just valued the way that I do business. And I found that out because when I was doing offboarding, like with my clients, I was sending them surveys. And a lot of the feedback that I got was like, wow, I'm so creative. And I think of different ways that they could bring their business to the next level with a website, with email marketing, with introducing different tech platforms into their business to help streamline their businesses. So, and it was because I found the products that I was using, I was genuinely in love with, I was a fan of, and I knew them like the back of my hand. So it was really fun to work and they could really feel that energy from me. And I was just radiating all this good energy. I was like, okay, this is what we're doing. I'm niching down and I'm working with online coaches and I'm working with creative entrepreneurs. And once I did that, I just feel like everything just felt aligned and took off and it's been a wild ride. And with my marketing, I really marketing myself. I've been advertising 15-minute complimentary getting to know you calls to
Mhm.
really pre-qualify people before I work with them. And we did lose Jazz. Okay, hopefully she'll be back shortly. And I know that, like, for me personally, I I have to just say it over and over. I really need to get to know you. Like that is how I can pre-qualify my potential clients. And so far, so good because I'm actually, and Shay would be really proud of me. So Shay, if you're out there listening, okay, this is a PSA for you. I actually have a 100% close rate on my sales calls.
Hey, that's amazing.
That's
Okay.
Yeah.
awesome.
Mhm.
So that is like a huge milestone in my business. It's because I really decided to really tune into the collective and rewatch, like watch the replays and be like, okay, like I know what my business goals are, and I am on a mission to get everything and anything that I can from each replay. It could just be one thing, y'all, that I just need to hear, and a light bulb will go off. I have an aha moment, and I'd be like, let's go, say no more.
And like taking that and applying it, I think that that's really amazing. That it sounds like you're doing that. V, you're taking what you're learning within the collective and you're applying it into your business, and it is literally paying off.
Literally.
Literally.
Like literally should be the theme word for 2023. Literally.
Literally and flow, because I feel like there's this quote in a book. I kind of forget what the exact quote is, but it was an entrepreneurial book, and it said you can either swim with the stream or you can swim against it. So I think just like going with the flow, feeling what feels right, and swimming instead of swimming upstream, swimming downstream with the way that everything is flowing,
Oh
instead
my
of making things more difficult for yourself.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm thinking of the movie Finding Nemo.
Yes.
Shout out to any Finding Nemo fans, any Disney fans out there. You know, I'm a mom with kids, and like Disney has really helped me like take naps. Because like Finding Nemo, like that, you know, and I just think of like just keep swimming, like swimming with the flow of the current, you know, and try not to worry about everything else that's going on around you. Who cares if there's sharks or whales or, you know, someone coming after you? Like we can't see that right now. Like just relax, just keep swimming. Everything's gonna be okay. We're gonna find Nemo, okay?
Finding your chill.
Yes.
Oh, Jazz is back.
She's back.
Welcome back, my love.
I wanted to restart itself. I'm on my phone.
Yes. Wow. I'm glad that you could come back. I was getting a little worried about you because you were giving me the stink face. You were frozen. Like,
I saw that was frozen. I was like, oh my gosh, they probably like, and I was like, I'm not moving, but everyone else is moving. I'm telling you guys, technology.
yes, a blessing and a curse. It surely is. Well, now that Jazz is back, we can just jump right into the last question that I have for you ladies. You know, lots of us juggle starting our businesses on the side while we were working a day job or a night job or moonlighting, right? And I want to know, you know, like, what is it like when you're doing that? You're a one-woman show and you're hoping to possibly hire a team or, you know, work with somebody like as a contractor, right? And I want to know, like, how do you balance that? How do you balance trying to figure out, you know, how much time do I work on my business? I have my day job, you know, am I willing to continue commuting? Am I going to try to see if they allow me to work from home more? Like, I'm sure there's a lot of fellow female entrepreneurs out there who may be struggling with how to balance it all. And I'm hoping that you ladies could provide some insight into that and, you know, help sister out.
I have a lot to say on this.
Hey.
One might be like a controversial opinion because I know there's a lot of stuff going around on the internet about how hustle culture is dead. No, it's not. It's absolutely not. Like, if you want to succeed and you want your business to do well, guess what you have to do? You have to hustle. Like, it's that simple. Like, I understand that, like, a lot of people, like, even for myself, I find it so hard. For example, right now, trying to do my website when I'm juggling 1, 2, 3 clients. I also have commitments, other commitments and other activities. I'm also in the middle of planning a wedding. But if I want my business to succeed, you best believe that I'm up until 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning, working on my stuff, working on client work, working on my business, working on things. And then I wake up the next day. Sometimes I might wake up a little late. I might not wake up till like 9:30, and I might not wake up at 7 a.m. like I want, but I wake up immediately. I make myself a coffee. I wash my face. I open my laptop and I'm working again. And most of the time, not even gonna lie, like when I first started, I would open my laptop, have my coffee, wouldn't even realize what time it was. All of a sudden, the sun would be down and it was like 12:30 at night. And that's how I got my business off the ground. Like, so you have to hustle. And that's it. End of story. Like, I'm very, very strong opinion on that. And I can't say it enough. Like, hustle culture is not dead. The only people that are telling you that it is dead are the people that want you to just, sit back, relax, let me hustle, and you can watch me soar. So remember that.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that, Kat. Everything that you are saying, you definitely have you definitely have to hustle to get it off the ground. And I feel like I'm definitely in that really big hustle period right now, which it can be really difficult. I do struggle very often. And I just kind of find find the best way I can to push through it, finding different self-care strategies in different ways. Because I am working a full-time job. I'm planning a retreat. I'm launching a course. I have 2 clients I'm working with right now. I'm possibly taking on another client right now. I have a life and I'm very social as well. And yes, so I feel like some things it is a give and take. I have taken for some of my social activities, those have reduced as I'm focusing more on my business, but I feel like everything does go in phases. So I think you can be in a huge hustle phase to start when you're really trying to get something off the ground and running. And then eventually you're going to be in a more relaxed phase. So I think you just kind of you have to acknowledge that it will be really difficult to start. But if you have your end goal and your end vision in mind, that is really going to motivate you to get to that point where you don't have to work so hard. Everything's going to be set up with structures. You're going to have a team. It is going to get easier. But in our earliest phases, the first whatever, I don't know if there's not a set time period, but whatever that early to maybe middle phase is, then those are the most difficult times. And that's when you really have to hustle the most. And I feel like I've found different ways because I do go into the office some days, and those days are I work some remote and I work some in the office. And it is a little bit harder to shift my energy and to have as much energy to work on my business in the evening when I'm going in. But I found different ways for me that work that I can re-energize myself. It may not necessarily be the best because I'm probably running on adrenaline some in the evening, but I feel like I'm making temporary sacrifices right now, which will pay off more in the long run and which will get me to my ultimate goals of my life, what exactly I want my life to look like. So maybe I'll come home, maybe I'll do some yoga, maybe I'll take a shower, I'll eat dinner, I'll take a break for an hour or two, and then I'll get back to work and I'll work on all my stuff. And I know that it's not going to be like this forever. It is just a hustle phase.
You say that so much nicer than I say it.
Aw.
Like, I'm just
No, but
like,
I
everybody's
agree with
lying
everything
to
you said.
you. Like, but seriously, like, you also have to give yourself
Mhm.
grace. Like, you have to, like, I definitely, like, for myself, my social media has gone completely unchecked. And you know what? I don't care.
Same.
I hate social media, right? And I might never go back, but probably gonna have to. But yeah, you have to give yourself grace because, like, as you're hustling and like focusing on that one thing, other things are gonna slip and other things are gonna fall. But hustling is not just that focus on that one thing. It's also like juggling. Like, you're literally like da 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 da, like trying to get everything going.
Not the circus, Kay.
Yeah.
Somebody drop not the circus in the chat box because sometimes it is gonna have to be the circus. Like, I'm so glad you said that, Kay, because that's how I felt. Man, listen, when I was working, this is about, oh gosh, it's been like a year and 3 months ago when I was working a corporate day job was working for a bank. I was a customer service rep for the mortgage department. And I was working Monday to Friday, 8 to 5. I literally was taking my lunch breaks and my 2 15-minute breaks to go to the car or go to the courtyard. And the next, there was a building where we were at, and then there's a courtyard in between, and then another building. I used to literally sit there, y'all, and draw my logos and pull out my phone and take the BB Academy courses because I downloaded like the MP4 format of it. So I would listen to it while I was drawing logos. I was like, I am so serious. I cannot stay at this job forever. Okay. This is not a forever thing. I can taste my business, my freedom-filled life. Shameless plug to the Freedom Filled Life podcast by Cassie and Shay of the Bucketlist Bombshells. And Julia and I just had our podcast episodes that were just dropped, and Kay and Jazz's are soon to come. So if you have not checked that out, make sure you check it out as well. But, we really talk about what it was like for us in the beginning stages and how we came to have the Bucketlist Bombshells come into our world and motivate us to say, oh, wow, we can do this. Cassie and Shay did this. They started a business from scratch. Like, we can do the same. I mean, granted, their journey was way nicer. I would love to just take a one-way ticket to Mexico. I can't. I got children, y'all. I can't be about that life. I mean, I could, but somebody might call somebody. But anyway, that's a whole other story. So, it's very inspirational. It's motivation to say, like, wow, like, having to balance everything is gonna be hard. Like Kay said, it's gonna be a hustle. Your social media might take a back seat or be non-existent. You might be ghosts and people might be DMing you like, are you still alive? Right. Mm-hmm. But you got to do what you got to do, because there are times where you really are going to have to, push the, what is it called? Push the pedal to the metal. Okay. Somebody type push the pedal to the metal, because those moments are going to happen.
Yeah, you have to push the pedal a lot, especially when you're first starting out. Sorry, I need a sip of water. Especially
you better drink that water, Kate. It is not cute to be dehydrated. Okay.
No, it's definitely not. But
you have a wedding coming up. You cannot be dehydrated for your wedding.
Felicia's in the chat and she says, hey guys, she's loving the topics today.
Thank you, Alicia. We're
Felicia.
Oh, Felicia?
Yeah.
Like, bye, Felicia?
Yes. No,
hey,
hi, Felicia. Not bye, Felicia.
I'm not saying bye to you, girl. I'm just trying to put 2 and 2 together so I get the pronunciation right and say Felicia. Hey, nice to have you here. Drop any questions that you have, Felicia, into the chat. We would love to answer them for you. We have about 5 minutes left.
Okay.
But yeah, I also wanted to add in, I feel like also the point of hustling, I know it can be really difficult, and I feel like I definitely don't want to pretend like it's easy. It is really difficult to juggle all these different things and to hustle. It is really hard. But I also think to keep in mind as you're doing different things, setting up a structure and business and everything that it's going to be easier in the future. So focusing on creating high ticket services, finding something that can create an easier or a type of passive income or something, and setting up structures and different things that will pay off in the longer term. So thinking about those things are really, really key. And I definitely am still in the big hustle phase right now, but I'm setting up structures and systems that will pay off in the long run. So keeping that in mind, it's not always going to be this difficult. You're always going to have to work hard, obviously, but it will get easier. But you just have to focus now. Focus now on pushing, doing the big push now to pay off in the long term.
I actually want to pay back off that and just share a tip that I'm doing on my new site for the long run to try and get more leads is after somewhere on my services page, I have a section that lets them know that they can download a custom pricing guide to see what it would look like to have a customized website, because every website is different. Now, like if you were to get my standard package, it would be whatever it was, right? But if you wanted a blog and email marketing and all these things that you needed, I have a special pricing guide for that. But what's also great about that is when that pricing guide's downloaded, that person's immediately on my system, on my back end, immediately flagged as a warm lead, because they're interested in seeing my pricing, they're interested in working with me, and they've now been entered into a very special like segmentation of my email marketing specifically for warm and hot leads. So it's like, if you like, and I'm starting to like set stuff like that up now, because I know later having that stuff and those steps set up, it's just going to be that, just like Julia's saying, it's going to be that much easier for me to deal with.
Yes. And then email marketing, setting up your email marketing funnel, having your freebie leading into a delivery email, into a series of maybe 6 to 7 emails in a welcome email series, which I'm going to be teaching that in my course, and how to create your lead magnet and how to set all of that up. And so setting up different things, like Kat was exactly saying, setting up these systems and putting these tech things in place that will pay off in the longer term.
Yeah, I love that. So, such amazing tips. Like, we can go on and on, because I'm sure that a lot of us have picked up like some amazing tips that we're using in our businesses that have really transformed it and helped us grow, right? And there's also some amazing videos and resources in the collective as well, depending on whether or not you want to revamp your branding, you want to refine your messaging, you want to introduce like new systems, like Kay's talking about having a lead generation system that she's using on her website. Like, that is genius, and I feel like there's so many different things that you can use in your business. You just have to figure out what is the right one for you at like during the phase of business that you're in, whether it's startup phase or the growth phase or the scaling phase, because it's going to look different for everybody. And I want to know, like, let's see, can we see, Kay, if there's any questions? Because we literally have I was gonna try and talk Spanish, but I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna embarrass myself and just talk about, shame and stuff with the book that we're reading for book club. But let's say, I want to know, like, is there any last question? Because I know that Felicia said hustling is important, but I believe organized chaos gives a method to the madness. Organized chaos. That's a good way of putting it, Felicia. I like that. Organized chaos.
It's a circus.
Yeah, an organized circus, okay? And yeah, Jazz, we can definitely hear you. So just,
No, we
say
can't.
something.
Right now.
No,
Oh, wait, no, we can't. Okay.
I can't hear you.
Well,
we still love you.
we do. Okay. I know limited amount of sign language, so I don't, hopefully it's not gang signs, y'all. So just write that for the record if it is.
How does Gen Z do it? Like, I'm a millennial and I'm so proud of it. And
listen, I'm just gonna put the heart.
How does Gen Z do it? Because this is how millennials do it. Gen Z is like, it's almost like they're throwing up a gang sign, and I'm not sure how they do it. No, that's not it.
I mean,
that's it.
We can have
it. Jazz just did
it. Well, we can have a women in business gang going on here, which is, we've grown very tight because of doing these weekly episodes for the circle chats, and also because of book club and the collective. So we have some amazing discussions, and I want to, before we sign off, I just want to make a couple of announcements. We do have a gift for everyone who's watching. We actually have two gifts, okay? So the first gift is a 2-week free trial for the BB Collective. So the BB Collective is a place where women in business gather online to learn more strategies to grow their businesses. And y'all, these strategies work, okay? We're all a testament to that. So
100% close rate over
hey,
here.
hey. So yeah, like, come in and get your 2-week free trial, see what we're all about. Shay does an amazing mastermind coaching session once a month where she really gets like all up in your business, and she, in a good way, okay, in a good way, and she will help you troubleshoot anything that is going on with you in your business, okay, to just, give it that up level that it may need. And also the second gift is a guide. My guide is called Free Guide 4 Easy Steps to Quickly Create a Website. So you can access your checklist. It's basically, I'm giving y'all my secret for my tried, proven strategy for creating a website quickly and easily, really with ease. I'm bearing my soul as a website designer to y'all. So you don't want to miss out on that. If you have been looking to start your own website and you are not quite, you're kind of lost, maybe you're Googling it or whatnot, but download this guide. It's for you, it's free, and it's my gift to you. So with that being said, we are going to end the Circle Chats today. Catch us for our last episode next Thursday, y'all. Can you believe it? Oh my gosh. Oh, okay. I'm getting kind of sad. And yeah, next Thursday, 5:30 p.m. PT. Oh my gosh, 5:30 p.m. ET, 2:30 p.m. PT time. Same place here in the BB Community Group Facebook community, okay? And we want to give a big thanks to Shay and Cassie for giving us this opportunity to host this Circle Chat. It is a huge honor, and we thank you from the bottom of our hearts. So we'll catch y'all next week. Love y'all.
Bye.